Dear friends, the famous British writer Beard Griffiths wrote a book on mysticism called The Golden String. In that book, he describes a remarkable episode from his school days. One summer evening, Beard was walking outside his home. As he strolled along, he became aware of the birds singing in the air. He wondered why he had never heard them sing like this before. As he continued his walk, he came to a soccer field. Everything was quiet, and as he watched the sun sink slowly below the horizon, he felt as though God was present there in a tangible way. Up until that time, Beard had been a normal schoolboy. He was satisfied with the world as he found it, but now he saw it in a new, different way. In the words of poet William Wordsworth, he saw it with the glory and freshness of a dream. This gives us a glimpse of what Peter, James, and John must have experienced more than 2,000 years ago on Mount Tabor. Mountains are very important places in the scripture. That's where most of the prophets encountered God. Today's gospel speaks about the mountain of Tabor. It is also called the mountain of transfiguration. I was fortunate enough to visit this mountain once. The idea of peak moments from Beard Griffith's story help us to understand what the disciples were privileged to experience when Jesus was transfigured before their eyes. For a few precious moments, they saw Jesus in a totally different way. They saw God shine through the person of Jesus. They saw Jesus in an extraordinary way, what he was really on the inside, the beautiful, glorious Son of God. Now, one might ask, why is this story of transfiguration of Jesus placed among the readings of Lenten season, not during the Easter season? Peter, James, and John needed a spiritual shot, so to say, in the arm after Jesus' shocking revelation of his suffering, his death in Rome. Perhaps that is why the church wants to give us also a spiritual shake-up before she turns our attention to the passion, suffering, and death of Jesus on Good Friday. It is also because the transfiguration is very much closely related to Jesus' agony in the garden. Both these events took place on a mountaintop and at night when Jesus was praying to his Father in heaven. And they were both witnessed by these same three apostles. So what's the message of these two events for all of us here? Like Jesus, we have two dimensions in our life, the human and the divine. In each of us, there is a spark of Adam, the fallen man, and a spark of God, the divine creator. Like Jesus on Mount Tabor, we experience moments of glory when everything goes well, everything goes right in our life, and we feel very close to God. On the other hand, like Jesus on the Mount of Olives, we too experience moments of agony when things don't go right, when things don't go according to our plans, and we feel hesitant to do God's will. Then the spark of God flickers and dies within us. We feel so far away from God, and we wonder if God is there, if He exists at all to help us. When these moments of agony and ecstasy come, we should remember that Jesus experienced the same kinds of lows and highs in His life as we do. But Jesus never gave up. He always prayed to His Father in communion with His Father and did what was Father's will in His life. If we do respond to such events of ecstasy and agony in the same way as Jesus did, we too hear God saying to us, "This is my beloved Son, this is my beloved daughter." Today, so many voices distract us, politics, sports, social media, and so on, that we find it difficult to listen to God's voice. God speaks to us daily in many different ways through His Word and His sacraments. The readings today invite us to look for God not only in the extraordinary events of our life, but even in the small, little, ordinary things in our daily life. Therefore, dear friends, let us appreciate the glorious transfiguration of the Lord, the glory of Christ that will be one day ours, and pray that we may all experience the divine presence within us, listen to His voice, and be transformed like the disciples through our acts of sacrifice and service to others and to God during this Lenten journey.